Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Good to Game Radio. And tonight we're talking episode 4 of Moon Knight. It just came out today, so I'm sure Vance and Clint, who are also here with me, are eager to talk about it, as I am. So let's get into the episode here, and let's get into some Moon Knight. Vance, how you doing?
Pretty good.
Clint, what's up?
Just doing fantastic over here, sir. How we doing, Tony?
I'm good. I mean, it's technically the middle of the work week for me, but it's my Friday, and tomorrow, Vance and I are making the trek to PAX East 2022 in Boston.
Dude, where's the applause, Tony?
Yeah, come on, audience.
Yeah, there it is.
PAX 2022. Vance, are you excited?
Very excited. So I don't know if you know, but the merch released today. I was looking, okay, just kind of get some ideas. But when I typed in like PAX East, like there were like guys who, they like YouTube. They're like, hey, they're gonna go to PAX East, and just some YouTubers and stuff like that. So I was like, hey, I follow a couple of them on Twitter. Like, hey, we're gonna be up there, too, like that. So just trying to pre-network already, So
I was wondering if you were working that network already.
Hey,
I was on Twitter earlier. Everybody's posting their picture on the way to PAX 2022. See you there.
Yeah.
So, Yep, excited. But we got to leave at like 3:00 in the morning. So,
right.
That's the downside.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what we're here for, Moon Knight, the latest episode. I don't know what the episode title was, but what are your guys' impressions after seeing this episode? What were your reactions?
Okay, let me just tell you that I told that story recently about my dad talking about how the Batman was super dark, right? Like he could barely see anything.
Man, speak the truth, man. Speak the truth.
I turned on this episode and I'm thinking, I literally can't see what's going on,
man.
And so I'm watching the start of this, and Vance. I'm so happy that you're already on board with this. Okay, so I turned on the episode, and then I get my controller out, and I'm trying to like tweak my settings on my TV,
man.
And I'm like,
the truth, brother.
I'm like, is it even me? Like, and so I stopped, and I legit paused it,
right?
And I came over to my laptop. And I pulled the laptop up and I put the brightness all the way up. I'm like, okay, so it is actually possible to see this screen, but it's like the darkest thing ever. And so I come back and I turn I like sat for 5-10 minutes, man. I'm tweaking my TV and like doing all this stuff just to get it where I can see the freaking episode that they're trying to show us. Like I literally can't see it. But I finally got it where it was like, okay, I can actually see things that are going on. They're wandering around these tombs and stuff. They're at the desert at night. I'm like, dude, learn how to light. Like, that's all I need from you is if you're making visual content, allow me to see it. That is, I think, a very low bar that I'm setting for what I'm asking here. But man, I do, right. As a quick side note, thank you, Mohammed Diab, for doing this ridiculously dark episode, because after I tweaked all my settings and I went and played Elden Ring, I went into a cave. I could literally see everything in the cave. Never could see anything in the caves without a light. I could literally see everything because I had to make it that bright. But once I could actually watch the episode, I thought it was pretty interesting. We got into some stuff. We got into this tomb with that they decided was Alexander the Great's to get the statue that contains, what's her name? What's the name of this?
Ahmed.
That contains Ahmed's, body or soul or, in the stone. And I thought that was interesting. I'm curious, did they explain these like monster dudes that were in there? Like, I don't know if they're zombies or not really zombies, but
They
They're
did.
like, they did. I
Yeah.
wouldn't know because I was probably messing with my settings. So
Right.
Tony, why don't let's just go. Let's take a step back. Why don't you tell us what happened in this episode? Because you're the only one that doesn't seem to be complaining about how dark it was, and it's kind of your
Man,
job that we've all decided that you do the
man,
recaps.
look, I'm
We made you do
closing
the recap when you hadn't
blinds.
watched it.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's your Vance's
Right.
take first.
Man, look, I'm 1000% with Clint. Like, I'm closing blinds. I'm over here closing curtains. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, like I got the flashlight out trying to watch the episode. Like, what's going on? I'm like confused. You know what I'm saying? Before they go in, they show the the bloody knife on the ground. So I'm like, I'm trying to adjust that. Is it pay attention to the knife? Like, is that important? Should I remember this knife? Was it in episode 1 and 3? Yeah, we're like, oh man, like yeah. So I was like, man. And then once they got to the, you know, like the, I don't know what was going on. I was like, now you lost me. Okay, now you lost me. So I was lost after that. Yeah.
After what? What? After which portion?
He got shot. I was lost after that.
Yeah, that was so weird.
Yeah, I was like,
And I realized, like, I probably really suffered from not paying attention to the
right,
beginning because I couldn't see anything. That
right,
I'm like, I feel like I should have a better handle of what's going on. And
right,
I thought about rewatching this, and I'm like, no, I'm gonna let Tony and Vance explain it to me.
right. Oh, so but to back last episode to iterate what was going on. Once I think his name was Kanushu, he was turning into stone. Steven had the body, and he told Mark. He told Steven. He said, "Hey, tell Mark to free me."
Yeah.
So yeah, so it was Steven who was in control of the body.
And that was interesting because that was part of the recap.
Right,
So if they're throwing it in the recap, they are trying to keep it fresh in our minds.
right.
Okay, first of all, I have to say, I at the end of the episode, I really liked the episode. At the end, the last third of the episode, I'm scratching my head, going, "What is going on?" This is like really turning the tables on what the story has been up to this point. I'm like, okay, have I just been fooled the whole time? Um, so I had to question that. Then it got kind of funny, but I had my own challenges at the beginning of this episode because I got home from work, right? And my schedule puts me a little bit later in the afternoon. I didn't even try to attempt to watch it on my phone at the office because the signal is horrible. So I was like, well, I'll get home with about an hour and 15. I can watch the episode and and go from there, right? So I come home, I start watching it, and Amy is putting together a new desk that has arrived, right? For the office, for this space here. The desk that I'm currently using.
Oh, is
Right.
this the new spot? I guess it is a different room. I hadn't paid attention.
Right. So I'm trying to watch the episode. It's dark. I can't hear anything. Like the volume is like kind of messed up, right? And I'm like, turning the TV up to like 65 on the screen on the TV, which is pretty loud, just so I can hear what they're saying. And right when there's starting to be some action within the cave complex, whatever, Amy yells at me from this office, and she's like, "It would be nice if somebody would give me a hand with their new desk." So I had to stop, come in here, give her a hand with the desk, answer 20 questions about how great it looked and stuff. Then, when I thought there was a good pause, like she was satisfied, I came back into the living room, started watching the rest of it. And then she's like, "Here, come check this out. Look what I did." I'm like, "Okay." Then we go back in it. So I had my own challenges I was dealing with as far as trying to watch the episode. But I would say that at the end of the episode, once I was able to like comprehend better what was going on, um, I liked the episode. I can agree that it's very dark, and I think they did that on purpose because they had those like priest. So they explained it, Clint, like when they entered the one chamber where there was like the sacrificial table that had the blood
Yeah,
all
yeah.
over and stuff.
Mhm. Yeah.
There's like paintings along the roof or the ceiling, and Steven goes, "Oh, look, those guys are like guardians. Their job is to protect, this complex or whatever." So he
The
actually
tomb,
says
yeah.
it there
So I remember him saying
Take
that.
me down.
Why are they alive thousands of years after? Like
because
that is like,
it's a mummy show.
okay. Well, there you
You
go.
can't do any Egyptian mythological movies or shows and not have something walking around.
So, dude, I really wanted to like bust out my Encyclopedia Britannica from 1995 to find out did they do embalming on just average Joes? Because why is this bearded guy who gets like trapped? Why is he being embalmed? Like why are they going through that process with him? Was that for every person, or is that like a I don't know if thunder just cracked so hard it shook.
Mhm.
Sorry.
So you're starting to mess around that Egyptian mythology. They're coming for
Yeah.
you.
No,
Right.
it's the god of Encyclopedia Britannica that got mad. Because I didn't use the up-to-date version.
Mm.
So you're asking what do they?
Why are they doing that to him? I did not think that was standard burial practice.
It is if you're like creating like
So
like
they're
escorts
mummifying
to
them.
the afterlife. That can
Yeah, I
like
guess it is. So maybe
servants
that
and
was a
stuff.
standard thing. I don't actually have information on it. It's more of a question. But yeah, it was interesting. And that was the guy. So one thing I noticed, that gentleman there, we were introduced to him, as far as I can remember, just before he was there and like high fives Ethan Hawke. Right? When they find, oh, we're here, whatever, high fives him, boom. Then we see him get gutted. That is the guy who appeared to be the orderly at the end of it.
Right.
So to recap the episode, they are racing Ethan Hawke to the tomb. They get there first. They are guardians of the tomb that they have run-ins with, and there's gunshots and everything from the baddies. Steven and Layla get separated. Layla gets information from Ethan Hawke about her father's death and how Mark was involved in it. Steven finds the tomb, gets the statue that contains the life force of this god. And then Layla confronts Mark, so she kicks Steve out of the body, right? And Mark and Layla have a run-in about how he was there when his father, her father, died.
Right.
One thing that she mentions there, and that kind of catches us up to like 60% of the episode, 70% of the episode. But he mentions that he got shot by his partner, who is getting reckless. Then we see Ethan Hawke storm in and shoot. Is that Mark at that point? We see him shoot Mark
Right.
in the chest. Next thing we know it, Mark has woken up in an insane asylum. And we see some familiar faces. The guy who we just watched the embalming process start on, who's getting stabbed and gutted at a table, is an orderly that's there.
Mm-hmm.
The woman, police officer or whatever, is also there as like an orderly or security of some sort that's like grabbed at him. Mm-hmm. We see Layla interacting with him.
Right.
And then we see Ethan Hawke's character as presumably the doctor in charge of the operation of this mental institution. And we watch as Steven, he is calling him Mark at this point, and Steven is the alter ego is what is how it's being presented here.
Right.
So, and there's this movie that they have that's like a tomb raiding, tomb buster, I think they called it, or something like that.
Yeah.
And so
VHS
A
baby.
knockoff of Tomb Raider, yeah.
And then we watch Steven and Mark interact with each other. They actually physically, in two separate identical bodies, meet each other and attempt an escape of this asylum. And then they are met by this large Egyptian, what was it, like a hippopotamus or something?
Yeah.
What is going on, dude? Like,
right. I don't even know.
I
thought
have no idea.
the hippopotamus at the end that waves and says hi.
Yeah,
and
it's
and they scream.
And it's
I actually
a
thought
female
that was
voice.
Great.
And then I was trying to think, what females do we have introduced in this series that would kind of make sense? And we already know that we saw Layla in the institution with them. That's basically 90% of their female presence in the show, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you just have like his old boss, and it definitely wasn't her, the one with the super thick accent.
Right.
And we have like Layla's mom or whatever, and that didn't seem to fit whatsoever. So my thoughts is this person is just, this female hippopotamus is just a new character. Like, I wish that they hadn't screwed up the lighting in this episode, because I feel like had I been invested as I watched to this point, that I would have maybe.
I mean, if you're crawling around in some caves underneath, in an old Egyptian tomb, you would expect it to be dark.
Dude, Tony, yes, I expect it to be dark, but I expect to be able to see what they are trying to show me.
I know. I thought they wanted to introduce.
I want to see your show.
Yeah, they wanted to introduce like a level of horror to the episode. Like,
it wasn't horrific whatsoever, because I'm looking at a black screen. Like, I had no feelings attached with it other than frustration from not being able to see it. That's the problem, man. Like, that's not good television. This guy, Mohammed Diab, I brought him up every week, man. I've been proud of him. I thought he's been doing good things. Dude really messed this one up, man. On an otherwise episode with a lot of potential, I think he really messed up with that decision.
Exactly, Lady Swish. It was a black screen with voices screaming and gunshots.
Yeah.
The lighting notwithstanding, the end in the mental institution is, I mean, obviously it's not a real place, right? I mean, like, what mental institution looks like that? All white walls with Egyptian artifacts all over the place, with people stuck inside big mummies or sarcophaguses. Maybe obviously not a real place. So it's obviously in his mind, right? And then each sarcophagus is a representation of the different personalities that are within his mind, right? So there's one that they did not open. Remember, there was one that was standing upright. I can't remember what it was shaped like, but they both looked at it and did not approach it. They were kind of like spooked out about it, creeped out about it, I guess. Probably another personality that was wanting out. And I will say this: if you watch and that's probably just me, just just overthinking it, but in the pre-credits, no, the credits, they have all the montage of different scenes and stuff like that. There is one scene where they have Oscar Isaac character, or his image, and it goes from like side profile of him, and then it duplicates 3 times, 1, 2, 3, like 3 different faces, not 3 different faces, but 3 heads, right? I thought maybe indication that there definitely is a third personality there. And again, we get the sarcophagus at the end that they did not approach. What the hippopotamus is, I don't know. I mean, what is that representative of in Egyptian mythology? So you could probably look it up.
You seem to have a bit more like kind of fleshed out idea than I do. Here's the kind of the extent of what I have at this point. Mark made a point to tell Layla that he was shot at the time when her father was killed.
Mm-hmm.
He is shot by Ethan Hawke, and then I think this is a flashback. You know how these shows love their flashbacks. I think this is potentially where the personalities are, like the origin of them. Now you think like, oh, but Mark and Steven knew each other, like they embraced and all that. But I think that this is like, it shows it's in the mental institution. I think this is like the turning point for Mark when these other personalities start hitching a ride. And I think it's the gunshot that he alludes to before. I think like that is the turning point. And I think that's potentially this is that gunshot, or like this is it's not the same gunshot, but it's like serving the same purpose to like trigger some sort of mental episode.
Right.
That's all I got. It's too
Yeah,
dark, man.
Yeah, because did he ever say how many times he was shot?
He just said he was shot.
Okay,
He
so
was
here's
shot twice by Ethan Hawke. But...
Right.
Here is my thought immediately. He's telling his wife that this guy shot him. I would expect, I'm not trying to be crass, but I would expect that your wife would have a pretty good idea what your body looks like, and that a bullet wound would probably not have gone unseen during a marriage. Right? Like, so why is he telling his wife that he got shot and then she's not supposed to know that?
But doesn't the suit heal him?
Okay,
right.
so does it heal something from before?
Well, see,
okay, that's something I think maybe.
Well, see, and remember, and don't forget, last episode I was saying that like I believe both of them died. The dad and Mark died, but Mark was brought back through the God, so it's like he gave him a new body in a sense. So when he meets his wife, it is like after because remember she said that's how they met was when her dad got shot.
Oh, what if Steven was the original? He was at the archaeology site with her father as a colleague or something. They all got murdered, and Steven's body is what I'm sorry, I can't ever remember the god's names. Steven's body is what the god, say it for me.
Kanusha.
That's totally not right, but it's a lot better than my having no idea. So Steven is the original. He's an archaeologist. He gets shot and murdered at the same time as their father. Kanushu, Captain Crunch or whatever, comes and says, "Hey, you're back to life, and now you're my soldier. That's what you get." But he still has that lingering memory of being Steven, a colleague of the father. That also would explain why Steven still has that familiarity with her. We kind of hypothesize that Steven could have been her father to some kind of extent in some way. I don't know, man. That's something.
I think it's Khonshu.
Yeah, you got it. That's what it is. Calvin Klein. Understood.
Yeah, I mean, I like the idea that that
Captain
Stephen
Crunch.
Grant, because they show in the movie Tomb Busters or whatever the VHS that they were watching.
Stephen Grant.
Stephen
PhD
Grant is
or
the
whatever.
archaeologist in that movie, right?
Right. His name was Stephen. Yep.
So that would
another reason it could be an alternate personality. Though.
That would be reasonable to think that archaeologist is taken from the archaeologists that we know that were assassinated or executed. That one of them would be linked to that. So yeah, it Stephen could be
actually,
the original body.
Yeah, and then Mark is there, and he's in the insane asylum, and that is being introduced to there to try to show him a link. Like, so he is like, oh, Steven, and they're like, oh, we'll watch this movie. Well, that's where it's all coming from. It's all coming from the movie. It's not that you have these pre-existing things. It's that you've watched this movie and now you're attributing that person's personality to yourself. It could be that they knew that Steven was lingering, Ethan Hawke and the institution, assuming this is actually not like a dream sequence or something. Ethan Hawke introduces tomb busters in order to show, hey, this is the seat of all of your thoughts and feelings about Stephen Grant. It's not that you were Stephen Grant, it's that you're fantasizing because you watched this movie.
Right. And cause did they ever say why Ethan Hawke's character is no longer Khonshu's avatar?
I can't remember, dude.
Well, he always presents it. Ethan Hawke's character is always presented like he broke away from him.
Yeah, he escaped him is the sense that I have from him, which that seems like that's a serious undertaking.
Yeah, I mean, how would you do that? Like, trick the god into thinking that you're dead? I don't know. I mean, I don't know if that's possible.
I would expect. I don't think it could be trickery. I expect it would be extortion or something. Like he might have had some sort of leverage over the god that he was able to levy. I don't know.
I mean, maybe the god just felt there was a better candidate for what he was trying to do.
Right. See. Right. Yeah. See, that's what I was gonna say, because for him to be Ahmed's avatar, then like either he's the first one for Ahmed, or he did something to the other avatar to make himself seem more worthy. In that way, because you remember they almost banished Khonshu before. Like they almost put him in stone before. There was like, you got one more time to mess up. So Ethan Hawke could have been behind the scenes.
But see, Ethan Hawke is not Ahmed's avatar, right? Is he? He's not.
Well, here's the reason he's not. I think is because when they are in stone, they do not have an avatar. Because right now, dude would have just popped the suit, right?
Right.
But because Colonel Sanders is locked in the stone, his powers are not there for Mark and Steven. So Ahmed was turned to stone and buried in the esophagus of Alexander in his sarcophagus.
Right. Alexander was the last avatar of Ahmed.
Yeah. So now the boys, Mark and Steven, also don't have an avatar. Or they are no longer an avatar.
Right.
Which is why I think I brought it up the other day when we talked about the previous episodes, is why is Khonshu, I think I got it that time, telling Steven to have Mark free him? Why would Mark free him? Because Mark is free of Khonshu. So why would he go and try to release him from the stone as Khonshu asked him to? So like there's more going on than they've showed us. And after they release this episode, literally, pitch black, I'm curious if they are going to be capable of telling the story. That's such a poor decision, Like the storytelling seems to be pretty good, but this one, a lot of very intriguing things. But it seems like this episode fell apart, man.
What's interesting, like Ethan Hawke. What is Ethan Hawke's character's name? I don't remember.
His name is Ethan Hawke.
Right.
No,
Ethan
his
Hawke,
character name is
when
Ethan
he's
Hawke.
talking to Steven in London, he's saying that Khonshu brings justice to those who have done something to deserve justice. right?
They've had a wrongdoing,
Right.
and he's correcting it after the fact.
But isn't Khonshu trying to, in this case, prevent something from happening? Like it's kind of out of sequence, right? He's trying to prevent Ethan Hawke from releasing Ahmed, who will then kill millions.
I don't think so. I don't think it's out of, because we're talking about like the pre-crime thing, right? With all that, but this isn't. He is not pre-punishing somebody.
Arthur Harrow, that's his name. Arthur Harrow. That's his
Harrow,
character name.
yeah, that's I hear them say Harrow. Okay, these two gods, their difference is their. Am I allowed to say bless you even though you muted yourself?
Thank you.
These two gods, their difference, the dynamic and the difference is that one punishes crime after it's committed, right? The other punishes crime before it's committed. So those are their shticks, right? But they still are at a battle with each other, right? So the fact that this guy is trying to go out of his way, that's just maneuvering, through life and trying to be able to continue doing what he's doing, because he has no ability to punish people who have committed a crime or a sin if Ahmed has already murdered all the sin doers. So it's
like
natural that they would.
22.
Yeah, well, it's natural that they'd be at odds, but his primary role is punish sinners. Her primary role is punish sinners, but before they actually sin. So she makes him unnecessary. So it makes sense that he would be going after her or wanting to keep her in prison. But the real question, I guess, that we haven't asked is, the only other god that I remember them saying what they do is like the god of like dancing and singing and art or something like that, right? That he meets when they're in the tomb. But so the god who punishes sinners that haven't sinned yet is in stone, and the god who punishes sinners who have sinned is in stone. Is there any punishment to sinning right now?
Well, I don't know. I don't know the pantheon of Egyptian gods well enough, but it seems like that pretty much covers it, right? Before and after, is there anything in between?
You get murdered the instant your finger pulls the trigger.
Murdered.
It's not pre-punishment. It's not post-punishment. It's just punishment.
I will say that when they put Khonshu's little statue up in the cubicle there, and they show like 20 more.
It was 10. I counted them. I thought that was important for some reason.
I'm like, wow, they're knocking each other off. I'm like, is there like a bigger power play going on here that we're not seeing? Like, are these two gods been manipulated by some other group within the group that we're just not seeing? Because I think it's significant that they show this whole wall of gods that are in stone. And how come they get to go in the cubicle? Like, how come Khonshu goes in the cubicle, but Ahmed goes into like a cave complex? She's that dangerous, maybe? I don't know. It would seem like she would be safer inside.
Well, I think that
the rest of them are.
They talk about it. There's some like groundwork that would maybe possibly lead to an explanation for that. And it's potentially that she is so dangerous that she was hidden so as not to be, so there wouldn't be the possibility of her being awoken, right? Because she was ruthless, right? So that makes sense to me. Like all these other, presumably they're gods, right? Those other stone statues, they don't have to be. And that's another thing, is that he was talking at the very first episode. He's talking to this kid about, it only shows 6 or 5 or whatever, but there was really 9 gods of whatever. And then we have 5 or however many gods in the tomb when he goes to like do his yelling at them, to try to blame Arthur Harrow. He goes to blame him for stuff, right? And gets shut down. But there was, I think, 5 of them there. But Steven has said there's 9. And then we see the statues and there's 10. But we know that there's also one over here with Ahmed. So there's 11 stones. And then there's 5. So that's 16. I'm tracking the numbers like I'm watching Lost, and they're supposed to make sense, but I don't know that they are at this point, man. It's a little all over the place.
I wonder if Arthur's character, like how long he's been around. Like, do the avatars still have like normal lifespans, and they have to get a new one after 40
I would
years or
expect
something?
so, but then if they're healing, the aging process, I think could be healed. I think medical science is going that way. I think I'm definitely overthinking it just with that statement alone, but
I mean, why is he so bent on releasing Ahmed?
I don't know, and don't forget, didn't is it Layla?
yeah,
Layla,
Didn't
yeah.
didn't she say he's dying?
who's dying?
Hera.
I don't remember that. When can you give context to that?
No, I think
Like,
she was saying, "I'm dying to hear." No,
Oh
well,
yeah, that's
yeah, yeah.
that's what it was.
You're
Yeah,
just dying to tell me what you know. Just so go ahead and tell me.
okay,
That
yeah, yeah,
sarcastic.
yeah. When she
yeah,
fell
it's the
off
way he
the,
phrased it. I had the same
yeah,
thought though. It took me I had that lag between wait. It's probably because we weren't paying attention, right?
right, trying to see who's she
Yeah,
talking to.
but I want to revisit something that we mentioned a moment ago, which is they're not their avatars, right? Because they're in stone.
Yeah,
But Harrow, Ethan Hawke, does he has the staff and he has like her power to kill him. So maybe you're onto something, Vance. I don't know why I kind of just forgot about him holding people's hands and them falling over murdered and all that. Like, is that because he holds her staff and there's some inherent power in that, even though he's not the Avatar?
I think
I don't know.
the power is in the staff, because every display of power that we see is through the staff.
Dude, can I just revisit when they're all at the place where the guys are riding the ponies around with their sticks and he puts the staff on the ground and does all this magical, abracadabra stuff, and then it's just like the dog, like the one thing. I expected hell to be unleashed, and it's like the little demon puppy. I was so let down by that. I
Hey,
was
Invisible,
like,
saving that,
invisible
saving
demon
that.
puppy. Okay.
not to, yeah, well, come see episode 4, the beginning of that, everything was invisible, so it's kind of a theme.
Right, yeah, yeah, because they even made a point to show the staff, or when they were in the psychiatric hospital.
Yeah, it wasn't the same one, but it
Right,
did
yeah, it was
show
just
him.
in
But
my
the
head,
the
yeah.
shoes were the same. He kept looking at the shoes, and it was the same.
Then
The
there was somebody sitting behind him too.
the sandals. What? Oh, did I miss that?
Uh, when he was sitting at the desk, he looked at Harold, but then like over like his left, he seen somebody like sitting there behind the like curtain.
Oh, I missed it. Do we know who it was?
Did you go to the bathroom or something? They showed it like 3 times.
Dude, I'm pretty sure I was already on my phone at that point.
Right,
I can't be bothered, man. You're making it so hard for me to watch this thing.
live TV. He can't even pause it.
There's like bright lights on this scene now. Okay.
Right, it's right, it's
Yeah,
bright.
I think, dude, it was like an absolute mood killer for this episode to start. Literally impossible to see. I just couldn't get with it, man. And I think that made it difficult for me to like. I told you I was gonna rewatch it. Like I
I
literally
fell
was gonna
asleep.
rewatch it, and I said no. I'm gonna shut up and let these guys explain it to me. I haven't done a very good job of that.
Hey,
Sorry.
hey! I fell asleep.
You pulled a Vance.
Yeah, I put a Vans on the Vans. I fell
Mm,
asleep.
mm.
I was like, man, I just got so
Tony
tired of
got
straining my
interrupted.
eyes. Right.
Tony's wife's hollering at him. You're falling asleep. I'm like on my phone. All right, well, it was good while it lasted, Moon Knight.
Hey, but I will say it hasn't let down so far. So far, each episode has been pretty good. They came with a solid 4. So far, like it's no, like just filler episodes. It's all like bam. So I think they learned it, man. I think they learned it. Boba Fett. They need to redo Boba Fett and you
No, they
know,
need to burn Boba Fett.
redo it.
Hey,
Like
but they went to Tatooine in this episode.
So, just thinking about this with the other Marvel series, as far as a first 4 episode, like the quality of the first 4 episodes, this is up there. I think Loki was another one that had a really high quality first 4 episodes. That one kind of kills me because the guy's making out with himself like the final episode, and it basically ruined the entirety of it for me. But
Hey, hey, he's making out with himself. He gets deceived by himself. Like,
so
terrible,
he
man.
I don't know.
actually, yeah, there's some
like-
multiple personalities kind of all over the place in these Marvel things, huh?
I don't know. I think that the production quality is outside of the issues with your lighting in this past episode. I think this is like movie quality. Like,
Yeah, it's definitely, of the Marvel series, it is, I'd say, quite a bit better than most of what we've seen so far. Especially only on the merit of its first 4 episodes. And the only reason I say that is because WandaVision, it took 4 episodes to get good. It was the end of the 3rd, and really the 4th episode, it turned into something worth watching. And this has been pretty entertaining the whole time. I hope we don't have like a reverse effect where it just falls apart at episode 4,
Right.
and goes to complete garbage. Like maybe that. So like WandaVision was like 4 of them ago, and then there's this one that started good and is gonna finish horrible, and that one started horrible and finished strong. So like the 12th series they release is gonna be awesome.
Hey, so
See you guys in 2024.
So what's so funny is, like, because now we're talking about rating each, like each series on their first 4 episodes, and it's like all the problems of previous shows are like arising. Like, and the one that sticks out to me is, you have Hawkeye and no, I'm sorry, not Hawkeye, Winter Soldier and Falcon, right? So, like he's fighting, like, what's his name? Winter Soldier, he's fighting a girl. And she's a girl who literally just got powers. And this man been a trained assassin. And I'm like, and she's like going hand in hand. I was like, and I don't know why that's so funny to me. It's like, it's like, and then Captain America's shield get knocked out of the air by a plastic shield, plastic chair. I'm like, hey, hey, Tony has to tell you that. With the helicopter. How he was so upset.
Yeah. Or like the guy sits down at the computer in the basement in the third world country of these random people that are like helping him, and he doesn't log in. He just starts smashing on that keyboard. I deleted our presence from the internet.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. No,
Like they just leave it logging up, like we do at work. You know what I'm saying? We don't even log out. We just leave it up.
Hey,
it was.
Hey, do anyone of you guys know how to have flown a helicopter before in your past?
I have.
Okay. Be ready on my mark. I want you to get out of your seat, jump over the middle console, get into the pilot seat, take control of the controls, and get the aircraft out of whatever crazy nosedive it's going to be in at that point.
Dude, just imagine how much they would mess up stepping over that middle console alone.
Man, just like you said, you wouldn't even be able to move because the G-force is like, like pushing you back up. Like, you wouldn't be able to move. Like, okay.
But
like, how come you didn't grab the controls? I couldn't move.
Yeah. Oh, and I flew this exact model helicopter in the war.
Right.
Yeah, wasn't she like 30 or something? She wasn't like
right.
But we're talking about all this, and what's crazy is like literally Hawkeye was very recent. It was a very recent one of these.
Yeah.
Forgot it existed. It literally stars a guy.
Every time we bring up the shows, I always forget about Hawkeye.
Right.
But you know what? Hawkeye was medium good the whole way through. It was not. It wasn't. It didn't have peaks or valleys.
Right.
And we talked about it.
It was all right.
It was a Hallmark movie.
Yeah, it was a Hallmark movie
in 6 parts. I just don't particularly like Hallmark movies. At least I don't think I've ever watched one, but the sense I get of what a Hallmark movie is, I don't necessarily want to watch it.
Right. The whole he made it home for Christmas. You know, I was like,
Yeah.
is he gonna make it home? You know, like I
And
said,
didn't he like
everything
he
else
had
is
all these
dead.
presents? I'm thinking like, bro, you guys stopped for like a shopping spree
Yeah.
like before you came home? I'm thinking just seeing their dad not dead, having saved the city or whatever, is probably gonna be present enough.
Well, yeah, there's
Hey,
always that one kid,
hey,
one
right,
child.
right, right. Hey, I haven't seen you in 8 days. What'd you bring me? Like,
What were you
dang.
doing for 8 days?
Right,
Come on.
working.
Don't worry about it.
They don't understand
Right.
about work. They don't understand about money. They think you make money
Hey, they
on a
think you can just
printing
go
press
outside,
They
somewhere.
think money
grab
makes
a
it
couple
sell.
leaves, you know. It's like, sheesh. Yeah. But first episode was pretty strong. Pretty strong. I think they're I don't know, they got two more. They only got two more, man. Hey, episode number 6 better bring it. I mean, like I said, the first 4 episodes been solid. I still think that they're going to unleash Ahmed, and it's gonna be a battle. It's gonna be a battle. Hopefully not like Life of Boba Fett battle. Where the guys checking
Knee
themselves out.
rockets.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. Oh,
It's all go stand behind this one wall.
You're right.
Crowd everybody behind the speeder,
So Vance, you did say that. I don't
Right.
think I was on the same page with you before, but I think I
Mhm.
am now because I thought the battle would be over keeping Ahmad from being resurrected, right?
Right.
And you were saying you think she'll be resurrected and then there'll be the battle to recapture her or something along those lines.
Right, because you figure now, depending on like what direction like they go with Stephen Mark, like he shot, so like really like there's nobody to stop him from bringing him back because they got the Avatar now. I mean the little stone whatever like that. So
But
That
they're
that's
whatever action she does has to go through an avatar, right? Like
right.
Khonshu could like change the sky and bring an eclipse or whatever, but like he can't
he did that
directly.
through the Avatar still though.
Yeah, he still did that
But
through the avatar.
but but if you remember, we had the discussion the other day on the previous episodes that when that Mark and Steven were arguing over who had killed the knife lickers, and we presumed it was a third person, and it could have been Khonshu overstepping, right, and using his avatar's body to do that. But I suppose that still would mean she would need an avatar. But Ethan Hawke's right there, you know.
Right, because why would they bother with an avatar if they could just take over the body?
Yeah.
Just keep the
Well, I
body.
suppose when you take over the body, it's probably like you're probably laser focused on whatever tasks are in front of that body, right? And if you're a god, you probably have a more far-reaching presence.
Does taking over the body make you vulnerable? Like if you were to possess the body itself, could that really open you up to dying as the god?
Well, at least for Khonshu, he heals. Is that a specific thing to that god, or would that be the same for all of them?
I would assume that most of the gods had some sort of self-healing ability, but
It seems the way he says it though has got me thinking about that because he said it's the my healing suit, and it seems like this whole superhero thing happening, and potentially because this is the god of punishment or however they would phrase it. I wouldn't expect the god of love and wine or whatever to have a magic suit like this dude. So it almost I don't know, dude. I'm just complete shot in the dark here. Incidentally, that's how all the other shots of the episode were taken. But I don't know what's going on with this, man. Like it's interesting. I'm still down to watch these last two and see what's going on. Um,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
happy
Definitely
that
got to
they're in
finish
a
out.
very well lit insane asylum right now.
That's probably gonna change.
with a giant hippopotamus running around in a dress.
I mean, I'm happy
Right.
that I could actually view my visual media. That's
Right.
literally like the least I can ask for as a viewer is to be able to view it.
Right. But I think Tony, you're onto something because another coworker of ours said that there's 3 personalities. He didn't name the last one, but he said he believes there's 3 as well. So it's gonna be interesting to see if that third one shows itself. But in the comics, he had 5.
Now,
Hmm.
I remember you saying something like that, and we saw the other tomb. We see the hippopotamus. Could that be one?
No. No.
I can't say that I'm like on that, like in that train of thought,
Right.
but I could see like we're in the insane asylum. Actually, shoot. He also was talking to Layla. If you think about it, so he, Mark, Sealed Tomb, Hippopotamus, and Layla, those are his people he's interacting with, or Harrow. I mean, I guess any of these people could be projections of his imagination. They've really opened up so many opportunities for any character that we were interacting with could just be another personality.
Right. Right. But yeah, because I mean, like, still, like it's gonna be, like the same body, but yeah,
Same body.
very,
Okay, yeah.
yeah,
I suppose. Yeah,
yeah, but
that's how we've seen it in this, at least up until now. I mean, in the insane asylum, he could be hallucinating, or whatever, because he's actually outside of the body. Mark and Steven are in separate bodies. The same image.
Okay, here we go.
talk to us.
Are you cheating?
I'm cheating.
He's cheating.
Right?
That's
No,
right.
I'm
I'm
just
okay with that.
cheating with the hippopotamus. I'm not cheating with the hippopotamus, but
I'm gonna tell Amy. I'm telling her.
All right, the hippopotamus, Taweret,
Kanusha?
ancient Egyptian goddess of childbirth and fertility.
So Layla's
Taweret
pregnant. Got it.
means she who is great, or simply great one. Typically depicted as a bipedal female hippopotamus with feline attributes and the back and tail of a Nile crocodile. She commonly bears the epithets Lady of Heaven, Mistress of the Horizon, she who removes water, Mistress of Pure Water, and Lady of the Birth House.
Removes water. He did fall in water.
Okay, and they have been doing stuff like that, like to navigate the tomb. They use, like, they followed the tongue because Alexander was the voice of Ahmed, and he looks in the mouth because she was the voice. So they are being really on the nose with that kind of stuff right now.
Right.
So I could see that. I don't know, man.
So what do y'all think the chances are Layla becomes the Avatar since Mark and what's the name, a shot?
But how? Because
they
Khonshu
have to
is
remove him from stone, right? Sorry.
Right. Yeah. She would have to remove him from stone. Yeah.
And I assume that is the plan, despite that making no sense to me as to why they would want to. The fact that this god is asking for that to be done, he's not going to ask. It's like he's not going to ask someone who has no interest in doing it, right? They have to have a reason to want him freed.
But don't forget her reason would be save Steven. She might hate Mark, but Steven did kiss her.
That was really weird too, because I was really on board with this. I don't know if that was your thought, Vance, that it could be your father.
No, it was mine.
It was yours. I was really on board with that because you could see there was familiarity. I think I'm probably back to this. Steven was the original owner of the body,
right?
and then as he got shot, his body was what Khonshu used to make the Avatar, and Mark was the representation of the Avatar in Steven's body.
Right.
And that's why he has the information about her father dying. I don't know, man. I think this series is interesting enough though to like, these conversations I think have value, that we're getting out of these, and it seems like I think there's also value to watching these a week at a time, even, because I think a lot of people are probably gonna binge watch it, and they'll be,
Right.
they'll probably appreciate that. Dude, that was so nice on WandaVision that I didn't have to think about all that garbage every week in between it, like. But this, it seems as though they've done a pretty good job so far. Just let me watch what you're showing me. That's all I want.
Right.
What do you got? Cheating?
Nothing. Yeah, just a little bit trying to figure out who she is. You know what I'm saying? Trying to figure out who she is. So far, she's just a wife of Mark Spector. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, Layla.
But yeah. But I definitely think I don't know, because that would be her reason. Like saving Steven. But still, just like you said, Mark said he got shot too, so it could be to save
Right.
save Mark.
So
but
when they're in the scene in the asylum, and he's in the wheelchair and his leg is strapped to the wheel of the wheelchair, and he's got the bingo card, right? What's the
Right.
significance of bingo? Why?
I
Do
don't
you
know
have an
because
answer, or are you asking?
No, I don't know. I don't have an answer. I have
Right.
no idea. What do you think it was? It was
Yeah, 'cause she
significant
told me.
because Layla came over there,
Right.
picked the card up off his lap, said, "Oh, bingo," and then said, "I'll share it with you. I promise. This time I
Didn't she
will."
say, "I'll share it with you this time"?
Yeah, this time.
That
Meaning
was
that,
what was weird to me in that statement.
yeah, there was like, there's some significance about that. One, the betrayal, how she is depicted. If this is within Mark's mind or Steven's mind, whoever's mind it is,
Right.
how she is portrayed there as like a thief, right? Like, hey,
Yeah.
I'm gonna take this off of your out of your lap, just snatch her up, and then I might share it with you later. I'm like, that's how he thinks he's thinking about her,
Right.
presumably.
So taking the avatarness, right? Potentially, like she's trying to take that from him, becoming the avatar.
That's
My
true.
thought,
That's
yeah,
true. I mean, we didn't really think about it that way, is because Mark keeps presenting it as, I want to protect her.
I won't let her become the avatar, right? That's what
Right.
he said.
That's how he's portraying it.
Right.
And then when Steven shares that information with her, she gets mad, right?
Yeah, it was interesting. Like I didn't read that. I don't think like maybe how I was supposed to. What was it that she said? Like that's not his decision to make, or something
Exactly. It's
along
not
those
his
lines,
decision.
right?
It's not his decision.
So
Right.
that was, but it's like I don't understand why. Like this does not seem like an honor to be the avatar, but maybe because
Maybe it would be for her.
exactly,
Yeah.
because when we watch Mark has his mind is fractured, and it's created all these issues for him. But Layla, who potentially, even though she's depicted in the insane asylum with him, but that could be a projection, potentially her mind is healthy and intact. And that is something that came up when they were in the tomb, with the hearing that was happening. Is they asked him if he was unwell, and he said he was unwell.
Right.
Right.
And that seemed to be a point that they took, that he is being used and he's unwell, or he is being used because he's unwell. That wasn't clear to me. But
Well, let's dig a little deeper here, because like, and we're just probably just making this stuff up, but let's think about this, right? She is of Egyptian culture, heritage, right? Her father's an archaeologist. She grew up with that. Um, and even Ethan Hawke says something to her when he's talking to her in the tombs, right? He's like, look at you, how proud your father would be to see you here amidst it, amongst it all, right? And she smiled at that, right? I thought she kind of like, you could sense that, yeah. Even Steven said something to her about it. Like she beamed every time.
A little scared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
that is her being, even her role, like when she's talking to her mom, we think it's her mom. Like she's not a thief. She just takes back what was stolen.
Right.
Right? Like
On to something.
Yeah, I mean, and you have Mark, the American, and all superheroes are Americans, right? Because how could they
It's a
not?
very American.
They're Americans, man. Come on.
Statement. Just saying.
Right.
It's a very America-centric
But
statement.
that's
sir.
exactly. That's my point, right? My point is, we see even freaking Thor is American, right? in our minds, right?
Right. He's an alien,
right? So we have Mark is the avatar for this Egyptian god,
right?
Like there's almost like this cultural message that's being given to us in the show from the director.
I've got that sense, Mohammed Diab. I've had that sense as well.
Yeah, Mohammed Diab. It's almost like there's this message just being given to us, like you've taken our culture,
cultural appropriation.
You've taken our culture. You've made a superhero. The guy's American. It should really be Egyptian. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it belongs to her. Like, there's like this.
Yeah, that's
this
super good point. Yeah.
Underlying thread that's going in, and it's like, okay, yeah. I mean, we are associating with Mark trying to protect her from the god, but maybe we should be looking at totally like in her mind.
He's withholding it.
He's withholding it from her. It's her. She should have the opportunity, and he didn't give it to her because, typical American, got to protect everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're onto something there. So I suppose when I really think about this, as much as I was bothered by not being able to see it whatsoever, the fact that my viewpoint on what's happening in the series has changed quite a bit. Last time we were talking, I think Mark is the real one and Steven's the alter. Well, I don't think that anymore. And I think that's probably one of the bigger chunks of this story is who is the real owner of the Steven Mark body.
Right.
And I think also, if we just say it for a second, Stephen Grant is an actual person's name, and Mark Spector is a special agent's name. Right? That is the alter ego name of the two of them.
Isn't Stephen Grant the archaeologist from Jurassic Park? The original?
Check it out.
Is it really? Okay, while you're checking that out, I'm going to explain to you what bothered me most about the 1993 classic, Jurassic Park. Despite Jeff Goldblum being just absolutely fantastic.
Okay, it's Alan Grant. It would have been cool if it been Stephen Grant.
Alan. That actually does sound right, too. When they feed the T-Rex and it's on the other side of the fence and it is devastating. Was it a goat, I think they have out there?
Right.
And then immediately after that scene, the cars are on the tracks in the exact same spot, and it pans over. The T-Rex like knocks them over the side, and now what is the nice little patch of grass that used to have a goat on it that just got eaten is now like an endless depth. Like it's just now they're like falling and they're hanging over the side holding onto these ropes. It's like literally there was just a goat there on land, and now it is a cliffside that you're hanging off of. It's one of the like inconsistencies in filmmaking that's bothered me. How long ago was 1993? That's how long.
Well, I think that's
29 years I've been bothered by that, guys.
Well, I think
29 years.
And the lighting wasn't that great either.
Lighting was a lot better than this, I'll tell you that. How was the sound, Tony?
The sound was amazing.
I was gonna say, dude, if you don't have the right answer, I got a problem with you.
It was amazing. Like when that little cup of water was on the dashboard of that vehicle, and it started vibrating.
You could feel that in your soul.
One of the best acoustic experiences ever in a movie theater.
Yeah, I think so. Like the funny part with Jurassic Park is with the dude, I forgot his name, but dude from Seinfeld. Yeah, the postal worker. And he's
Newman.
Newman. Yeah, he's in the car. Yeah. You want to stick your face, you stupid little dinosaur.
Yeah. They're spitting that stuff at his eyes and all that. Yeah.
Okay. I'm stupid. We gonna see. Yeah, he's like, hey, and then like when the guy they.
Yeah. Yeah.
He knew it was over. Oh shit! Yeah, he's like stupid little dinosaur.
That's the movie, isn't it? Where I think it's at the beginning when we're introduced to one of the guys. I can't remember which one. They were like, he was like getting in a verbal argument with someone, and he's like, "Oh, I could beat you with one arm tied down," and the guy ties his own arm down and then beats him up. Is that Jurassic Park?
I don't remember that in Jurassic Park.
It's got to be a movie from that time where he's like, the guy's like, "Oh, I could beat you with one arm tied down." He goes, "Okay," and then it cuts to the next scene, and the guy has tied his own arm behind his back to his belt loop or whatever, and he goes, "I meant my arm tied down," and then he clocks him. God, do I have to Google that
now? Hey,
Princess Bride. You sure that wasn't Princess Bride?
No, because I watched that yesterday, and it's phenomenal with no flaws except that the sword fighting one part.
That definitely wasn't Jurassic Park.
I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm gonna find it. It's gonna be it.
Hey,
I haven't watched Jurassic Park in at least 20 years, and I'm gonna tell you that's gonna be it.
Hey, the only person that only had one arm Jurassic Park was Samuel Jackson's character.
Did he only have one arm?
Well, you remember he got 8 and his
arm
dropped on a lady's shoulder.
That's right. Okay, because I'm like, I could remember him with that cigarette in his mouth, typing away furiously, which would have had to be 2 hands.
Oh man.
Well, I think that's a wrap for episode 4 of.
I think so.
Moon Knight. Thanks again for joining us here on Good Game Radio. Yep. Again, we're going to be in Boston. The next 4 days, me and Vance. And be sure to follow us on Instagram, Good Game Radio. And check out our website, goodgameradio.com. And check out our standalone podcast at Good to Game Radio.
We're gonna have some new stuff up there really soon, guys. Got to do something with my life.
Is in the process of editing tons of new content for you guys, and so check that out. But again, follow us on Instagram this week because we're going to be posting lots of pictures and whatnot from the PAX 2022 gaming convention in downtown Boston.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
So again, appreciate you guys. Thanks for dropping by and watching us. And hope you liked it. And we'll check you guys out later.
Later dudes.